It was warm at the end of April, like a heat wave, premature and sudden. The trees were a riot in the Bois, and the chestnuts bloomed in the Champs-Élysées. The cafes hung out their sun blinds and their sun umbrellas, and people sat out, limp and dusty, tired after one day, the women in thin dresses and no sleeves, the men with hats tilted at the back of their heads, wiping their brows with handkerchiefs. In the Place de Concorde the fountains played, and children ran bare-legged in the Tuileries, the sun beating down on the gravel paths, colour everywhere, blossom, a smell of early summer, open taxis massed together in a block below the Pont d'Iéna, a gendarme whistling, waving his arm, and then the traffic sweeping over the bridge, the water of the Seine grey and sluggish beneath. Hester could not bear staying indoors at the pension in this weather. She would come out in the evening with me 2 or 3 times a week now. We would sit at a cafe and have a drink, watching the people, or we would go over to the other bank, into the Paris we did not know so well, where there was greater heat, and more glitter and noise, more people, a certain excitement and suggestion of gaiety different from our Montparnasse. Here we were younger, and yet older in 1,000 ways. Here we were not so light-hearted, not so gay, but wrought and bewildered in a new way. I, restless and swept by a strange excitement, impressed by all these people who were wanting the same thing as myself, and Hester, lovely beside me, flushed, not so remote, and we were aware of each other, laughing, looking away, catching our breath. One evening, we had been inside a restaurant where there was music, my sort of music, a saxophone throbbing beneath the melody, a moan and a sigh, and something that went on beating, getting quicker and quicker. Then they played a tune, low and humming, a little wailing note coming from nowhere, and the time was perfect. There were people dancing. I said, "Dance?" to Hester, and she nodded, and we got up on the floor too. I knew I was no good at this. It would not be any fun for her, but for me it meant holding her, and being very close, her hair touching my cheek. She seemed small, smaller than I had realized, and she moved as though she had no will of her own, and was part of me. I did not know what was happening at all. I just went on holding her, and she held me too, and it was unlike anything that had ever been before. When the music finished, we went. She had a coat over her arm and a beret in her hand, and we passed through the doors and into the street, the lights flickering, people's faces passing us, meaning nothing, and I shouted for a taxi. A yellow Citroën came grinding up, stuffy and closed, but it did not matter, and we got in, not speaking, not knowing what was going on anywhere, or where he should take us. I took hold of her, burying my face in her hair, and I felt her heart beating and her body trembling. I had never dreamt it possible that I could go on kissing anyone for so long. Still I did not speak, but clung to her, not letting her go, and she lay quite still, and then turned away with her head against my shoulder. "Hester," I said. "Hester, darling, you don't mind, do you?" "No, I don't mind. It's so marvellous being with you. I couldn't go on any longer, Hester, not doing anything." "No." "Put your arms round me." "Why?" "I want you to. Put your arms round me." "Where's the taxi taking us, Dick?" "I don't know. It doesn't matter. I love you so terribly."